Now, though, the scourge of nuisance calls. The telephone rings and it's a company trying to sell you something, an automated voice, or in the worst case, a scammer. In the Norwich area alone, Ofcom figures show that 112,000 people suffer from these unwanted calls, and for many, it's a source of irritation and can even affect their health. The government say they've got a handle on this problem, with new, stricter rules coming in to fine the perpetrators. Here's the Culture Secretary, Ed Vasey.
Basically now, if a call causes you annoyance or anxiety, then you can report it to the Information Commissioner, and the Information Commissioner can now take action. So it should make a big impact. You know, we have a legitimate direct marketing industry in this country where businesses calling consumers can sometimes bring some benefit. We want to go after the cowboys, and frankly, the Information Commissioner knows who a lot of these companies are, but it's just very, very difficult to pass that threshold. Now it will be a lot easier.
So will this put an end to nuisance calls? Hare is from a company called CPR who make call blocking devices. I asked him for his reaction.
This is welcome news. Any changes in legislation to clamp down on any nuisance and unwanted calls, I think is welcomed by everybody. The concerns that we have as a manufacturer are the fact that it won't affect anybody that operates outside of the UK and the out-and-out scam artists.
So these calls will still come because they're out of the reach of the UK government?
Yes, they will. That will happen. But companies that operate within the UK, hopefully they'll operate, better than they have been. I mean, there are plenty of companies that operate correctly and effectively. We don't need to forget that. But there are also some that, they should be doing what they're doing.
I think we've all had the experience of sitting down to dinner and the phone goes and it's either silent or it's an automated service or it's someone you just don't want to speak to.
Yes.
I mean, just how big is the extent of this?
Well, 85% of the population, Witcher's report was 85%, and Ofcom's report was 84, 83 and 84%. That's the majority of the population. It is a real problem. Nuisance calls are a real problem. But an area that needs to be focused on, perhaps more, just as much, is the vulnerable adults in our society. The people that are being scammed and losing their life savings. The stories that we hear on a daily basis they're absolutely terrible.
Even though people obviously do fall for these, but even people who don't fall for it, they find it distressing that the phone keeps going and it's someone they don't want to speak to, and it can have a real effect on people, can't it?
It can have a massive effect on people psychologically. Also, the risk of the elderly getting up and down to their telephone, risking trips or falls, it has an effect far beyond what I think people can actually imagine.
So what can people do to try and prevent this? You've got technology which you use, and there are other manufacturers as well. People can buy into this, can they?
Yes, I mean, people should register with a telephone preference service. There are various options that people have. We want to create awareness that solutions, technology is available. And if this technology suits your purpose and fits your needs, then it is out there and it can be stopped. Unfortunately, you do have to pay for this technology.
Which is odd, isn't it, really? Because if you as manufacturers can do this, why can't the telephone companies?
Everybody is working very hard. We, as a company, are part of the Call Blocking Association, which we have a seat at the roundtable meetings with the telcos and the regulators. Everybody is working towards the same goal, but there's still millions and millions of people that are suffering and don't know that there are solutions out there. They don't have to put up with it.
Hare, who works for a company that make call blocking devices to try and end that big problem of nuisance calls, which latest figures show affect 85% of us.